Thank you, Refugio, and buenos dias, good morning. And I'm very excited to be here today. I have to say, when I got the invitation to talk about probably one of my most proudest moments in an ERG, I was excited, but probably this is going to top that moment. So thank you very much for that moment. My name is Marlene Lopez Ibarra, and I'm a 3-over. I've been a 3-over for over 22 years. Don't make math. I think they hired us when we were 5. Thank you. Hey, you're stealing the thunder. Thank you.
working? All right. So I'm Danielle Spitzer. I'm from Northwell Health. I am from our experience strategy and design team. And what that means is my team actually helps to support all of our leaders across the organization to really create an engaging and inclusive environment for all 88,000 plus team members that we have in our organization. Go to the next slide. Thank you. So for those of you who are not familiar with Northwell Health, we are the largest non-governmental employer in New York. We have, like I said, over 88,000 team members across Long Island, the 5 boroughs, Westchester, Connecticut, and newly into New Jersey. And we have over 21 hospitals and over 875 physician offices. And we have 19,000 nurses across our organization and 5,800 employed physicians and 12,000 credentialed physicians that are part of our network. So in addition to that, we are also a research institute, and we have over 250 researchers and principal investigators that do medical research to really help focus on research for medical conditions and curing diseases. So really excited to be here today to talk to you all about what we do to help put our Hispanic Star Promise into action. Thank you. Oop, wrong way. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of detail about our workforce, so like I said, we're about 89,000 team members across the tri-state area, and we are 71% female, and we are ethnically diverse with 16.4% of our population being Hispanic Latino. And we have diversity in our age representation. We have 5 different generations in our workforce with team members who have been at Northwell for 40, 50 years. So we really get to celebrate really true milestones for all of our team members as they go along their career journey here at Northwell. And also, when we look at our team members and the languages that speak, Spanish is actually the highest language spoken other than English for all of our team members. So we really help celebrate that with a lot of bilingual activities and translated services for all of team members, as well as with our patients and our community members as well. Go to the next slide. Thank you. And when we look at our workforce in comparison to the communities that we serve, we really try to focus on ensuring that our team members reflect the patients and communities that we serve across the New York area. So when you look at the population of New York is 19.8% Hispanic Latino. Our population is 16.4%, so we're doing well, but we know we have ways to go, and we have a lot of measures in place to help increase pipelines of Hispanic Latino team members at Northwell. And we've made a lot of progress as well. So when we look back where we were in 2020, we were about 11 or 12% Hispanic Latino, and we've made progress over the last 4 years, really focusing on building pipelines of Hispanic Latino team members by looking at how we're recruiting, what communities we're serving, what communities we're going into, to really build our brand, to make people aware of what Northwell does and what various jobs and functions we have that can bring more team members into Northwell from various communities. All right, so over the last 2 or 3 years, we really wanted to focus on understanding the experiences of our team members and really take a look at what they want from us as an organization, right? So we went out, we served and had different focus groups, we listened to our team members, we actually brought in thought leaders and experts from the industry to really help us understand what we were doing well, but also what areas of opportunity we had. And we saw 5 themes emerge. The first one was really ensuring that we are removing barriers for team members from historically underrepresented groups in our processes, in our programs, so that they can really, truly achieve their career goals at Northwell. Secondly, we wanted to increase diverse representation in our leadership. And we've done a lot of pipelining and succession planning to ensure that we are increasing pipelines of Hispanic Latino team members, as well as other historically underrepresented groups, into our leadership roles. We also wanted to ensure that we had the right data and that we were utilizing our data in the right way to support decision making around succession planning and talent development so that we could build pipelines of Hispanic Latinos and other historically underrepresented groups into roles where they were underrepresented here at Northwell. And then we also wanted to enhance our culture of inclusion and belonging. So one way we do that is our employee resource groups, but there's ways through education and resources that my team helps to create to ensure that we're fostering an environment where all team members, regardless of their background and experience, feel like they are included and they belong. And then we also wanted to ensure that everyone understood their role in fostering an inclusive culture, right? So really clarifying, if I'm a team member, how do I create an inclusive culture for not only our team members, but our patients as well? And then as a leader, how do I do that for my team members? How do I go out and make sure everyone's voices are heard, make sure that they understand that they can be their true authentic selves at Northwell? And then we wanted to also understand how we can ensure that all of our EDIMB councils and committees across the organization, because all of our hospitals have committees as well as our service lines. So we have probably about 30 or 40 different EDIB committees across the organization. We wanted to ensure that they were aligned with our strategic system-wide strategy, but also that they were able to focus locally and ensure that they were addressing any potential gaps or areas of opportunity there as well. We go to the next slide. Thank you. And so with the listening tours that we did, with the external thought leaders that we brought in, we really wanted to understand where we were from a maturity perspective around equity, diversity, inclusion, and belonging. And with the assessment, we realized we're probably on a spectrum, right, with the amount of facilities we have, with the amount of hospitals we have. Not every hospital and physician office or department is really at the same place. If we average it, we're probably in the leader-led area where it's integrated into what we do in terms of our leaders understanding our strategy and being able to talk about it, but it's not integrated into everything we do in every facility. And our goal is really to ensure that we have the best, the whole spectrum of our facilities, our physician offices, that everyone, wherever you are, is having a consistent experience from an EDIB perspective and inclusion and belonging. And so our goal is to have that integrated curve for all of our facilities. We're not there yet. We know we have work to do, but I will say it's been a journey of 15 plus years where we've really focused on this, and so we are getting there. And some of our facilities are already there, and they're really leading the way by sharing best practices with our other EDIB councils and leadership. And so we go to the next slide. And so we took all of that information and really put together an EDIB strategy that focused on three main things. One is, how are we attracting, developing, advancing, and retaining a diverse workforce? And that's through looking at how we're pipelining candidates, looking at how we're succession planning, right? Looking at our development programs to ensure that we have fair processes and we are able to get the population that we have in our development programs reflect the population we have here at Northwell. Secondly, we wanted to focus on our culture of inclusion and belonging. And I know my colleagues here have talked a lot about our ERGs. We have 14 employee resource groups at Northwell, including our Hispanic Latino Berg. See a lot of the representatives over there today, right? Shout out to them. They've grown 54% this year. So amazing work by our ERGs to really build a network for all of our Hispanic Latino team members and our team members abroad as well. And then our third pillar is really about that sustainable structure, right? So ensuring that our councils, our committees, our ERGs are set up for success. And that's where my team comes in to ensure that we are supporting them in the right way with the right resources and the right programs so that we can educate and support our team members across the organization. All right, so how are we putting the Hispanic Star Promise, into action, right? So with the 6 pillars, we really appreciate the framework that you've put together. We've used that to really illustrate how we are putting EDIB into action and supporting our Hispanic Latino team members. Yeah, sorry. I come from a line of teachers. I feel like I talk loud, so apologies. I didn't want to shout in your ears. Yeah. Okay. And I also just really wanted to say we appreciate Hispanic Star and the Nurse Heroes Scholarship. With the scholarship, we've been able to have 58 students receive scholarships and go through their career journeys to become nurses, so thank you so much for that as well. Next slide, yeah. All right, so when we look at how we've put the framework into place, from a prepare standpoint, we have a number of pipeline programs that help support historically underrepresented groups come into careers in healthcare. We start from the middle school level, so we have programs that pipeline and educate middle schoolers on healthcare careers. We go into high schools, we have medical career days, we have Spark Challenge, which really helps educate on the different types of careers that you can have in healthcare, not just nursing and doctors, but you can be a chef, you can be a medical assistant, you can work in HR, right? So there's so many different careers you can have in healthcare, when we really want to educate them on the vast, broad opportunities that they have. We also partner with medical schools in Puerto Rico to help increase pipelines of physicians into Northwell as well. From a higher perspective, it's really about our diverse slate initiative. So ensuring that we are mitigating one-to-one hiring and ensuring that slates of candidates are coming through our hiring process, especially for leadership roles, so that we are able to increase diversity of the candidates that our hiring managers are seeing, and then hopefully hiring as well. And then we also go into different communities. So we are ensuring that we're not only just posting jobs online, but we're going to community gardens, we're going to supermarkets and tabling and really building the brand of Northwell to ensure that we are able to build diverse pipelines of candidates into our roles. And I have to give Dr. Deb Salas-Lopez a shout out because she runs our community population and wellness department, and we really partner with her with our career services team to ensure that we are going out into all the different communities to build pipelines of candidates into our organization as well. And when we go to promote, we're really focusing on different leadership and development and mentorship programs for all of our team members, but we also have ones focused on historically underrepresented groups so that we can build not only pipelines into our organization, but into leadership roles as well. Thank you. All right, and when we look at retention, it's really about education and engagement, right? So ensuring that all of our team members are educated around what EDIB is. We have our Inclusion Academy, which really focuses on education around EDI&B. We also give access to our team members to LinkedIn Learning so that they have a number of opportunities to really gain the skill sets to lead and go into leadership roles successfully. Our Hispanic and Latino Berg also provides a lot of opportunities around education. We educate not only on professional development, but also personal development as well. So there's wellness education, there's financial literacy education, and then there's also professional development for leadership skills also. And then from, when we look at our buyer and supplier diversity as well, we have an entire department focused on supplier diversity to really ensure that we give a fair opportunity for Hispanic-owned businesses to be able to operate and provide supplies and different services to Northwell as well. So with that, we go to the next slide. We have been on this journey, like I said, for over 15 years to really ensure that we're providing an opportunity for all of our team members to grow and thrive at Northwell. As you can see, we've been recognized by a number of organizations for the work what we've done. But I will say, like my colleague said, it's really never over, right? This is a continuous journey that we will be on probably for the rest of time to really ensure that we're creating an inclusive culture for all of our team members and our community members and patients so that everyone feels welcomed, their voices feel heard, and that they belong. Thank you.
because they're providing the clinical care at Northwell. They're interacting with our community. And so we want to share with them. We have about 140 of them. They've all signed up by discipline. I'm a cardiologist that speaks Spanish. Send the patients to me if they only want to, speak in Spanish when they're getting health care. So it is a journey that we're on, and I promise you that we're not going to stop. To your comments when you opened up this morning and said, we've got to change the perception to the reality. And that's what we're about. So thank you. Applaud 3M, Bain, IBM, and all the rest of the companies that are here today. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. I am Amalia Moreno Damgard. I am an author, chef entrepreneur based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I was at the first Hispanic Summit in Minneapolis held at 3M. First, I want to say muchas gracias for the work that you're doing. It's a promise, it's a pledge, but it's the future. And we can't stop doing this work. It's so much needed. So thank you very much for doing what you're doing. I have a couple of questions. How many companies across the US have signed the pledge? Second one is, the work that you're doing is more important than ever. There are many companies across the US who have gone back on their DEI pledge. What has your experience been about that?
Say it again. Yeah, what I said was I think that's upsetting by rating for this industry. I'm not gonna answer the DEI comment. I think not because I'm avoiding. I think we have an explicit session later on that topic, which I think will get much richer responses. Don't get that question answered this afternoon. Yeah, I mean, like I spoke about, at least our company, we're doubling down. I know Claudia, you talked about the trend across other companies, so just because yeah, it's better.
No, we at Northwell are staying committed. We talk about diversity and inclusion from day one in our orientation session, and all the new leaders and newly promoted leaders, we talk about what it means to be truly inclusive and how to build diversity of thought, diversity of perspective across the organization. So.
Thanks. Hello? Yeah. So, hi, sorry, I just got cold called, but my name is Julie Kaufman. I'm a Chief Diversity Officer for Bain Company, proud partner with Saber and with Claudia. I do a lot of DEI work with clients, and so I thought that it might be helpful to respond a bit from what we're seeing. We do a lot of work externally as well as internally. And I think that, at least in the U.S., there's certainly an awareness from many, many organizations. And in this environment, and with some of the folks that are out there looking for companies that are either saying or doing things that they perceive to be perhaps disadvantaging other places, I've seen a lot of companies double down, like you're saying, and stay the course, but be a little bit more mindful around what they're saying externally and how to try and ensure that the good, important work we're doing to enable all of our communities to thrive and to prosper and to make progress in their careers is not inadvertently taken away because outside influences are looking to scapegoat individual companies that they perceive are, violating Title VII, let's say, or something else. So what I've seen is that in our organization and most of our clients, your legal department is your best friend. Right now, you can make sure that you're auditing the activities, the terminology, the way you're doing that work. You don't stop doing what you're doing, but you ensure that you are future-proofing the efforts by not inadvertently creating openings where someone can come after you and cause challenges. So my view is that most companies that understand that this is a critical part of talent strategy, of getting the world's best talent to solve your toughest problems for your customers and for your consumers, understand that you cannot give up this work. It's actually part and parcel of how we survive. But you have to be clear that you're doing it the right way to not get unwarranted scrutiny or challenges.
Yeah, and I just want to jump in really quick too, because what I'm seeing out there, even with us, is we're migrating
pass it
from
to you.
ERGs to BRGs. Okay? Is adding business value, business impact, and all the ERGs, not just Latino. So that's what we're seeing. So I'm sure there's more to come across industries.
Buenos dias. Hello. Hi, everybody. My name is Ernie. I'm from Northwell Health. And
So, um, so the bias is in so much that who's filling out the assessment, which is a different flavor for every organization. Sometimes it's kind of PI, sometimes it's champions of, like in my case, Familia. Often what we try to do is make sure several people fill it out, right? And whatever the representative cross-section is, that frankly have the energy to take on whatever comes out of the assessment, right? And that's where you see a bit of bias, if there is any, taken out of the process. But in the end, like I mentioned earlier, it's a focusing thing, right? So it's in some ways really important because it tells you, okay, let's not boil the ocean. Let's zero in on one or two topics that we can really move the needle on. But I don't want to say it doesn't matter what the results are, but focus is valuable regardless of where that focus is within the context of the initiative. Right? So, said differently, when we review the assessments, so long as the organization has identified here are the two that we have it that have come out of the assessment, and we have energy to take it on, it's full speed ahead. There's no wrong answer for that.
I think, can you raise your hand if you're doing any AI or tools, tech tools to detect biases? Anyone here? I know of a couple of companies that have that. So just like connect, let's connect to make sure that we are sharing the best practices.
I have a, oh, sorry. I think there's a few of us at the mics. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Caitlin Jesus. Oh, I need to stand. Caitlin Jesus, you guys can hear me, right? Caitlin Jesus, I'm the VP and CFO for IBM in Americas. I'll start with a. And I have some good friends in the audience. First woman and Latina in 113 years of IBM. 30-second story before my question is this morning, before I came, I was talking to my son. He was finishing something, and it was an essay. He's 11, and he's going to speak to his class that his mom is going to go to UN. So don't underestimate what we do to the next generation, right? But my question is to all of you, how you guys, with everything we're doing, can you share with me best practices of communicating this externally to your company? We do a fantastic work within IBM to communicate internally everything we're doing. But for us to be stronger, I think it's missing us as a community, each company in their own lane, taking this broader. I think you mentioned, right, that you posted all over the places the flags. How do you guys do it, and how can we learn and all of us do a better external communication? Thank you.
Thank you. Parabéns, Brazilian.
Yes.
Parabéns. I totally echo it, and I think the whole of Hispanic Star, Hispanic Promise, it's like a brand. We can be the best brand, but if we don't publicize it, nobody's gonna know about it. So treat it like a brand, treat it like a company. If you're not spending it out there, if you're not promoting it, if you're not putting it in social media, nobody's gonna know about it. Signing the Hispanic Promise without the flag, nobody would have known, and our vision was to be recognized as the #1 company for Latinos. If nobody knows that 3M signed it, no Latinos are gonna come internally. So first of all, we said, okay, for 3Mers to come to 3M, we need to know other companies within Minnesota that we have this promise, that we have the desire to hire, promote, retain, and celebrate Latinos. Within the Twin Cities, we have the Twin Cities Hispanic Coalition. So first of all, we told all the Twin Cities companies, hey, did you know about the Hispanic Promise? So when we had the Midwest Hispanic Star Summit, we made sure that they were part of the event. So we said, hey, come and do it. And we make sure that whenever we have an event related to what Promise, raising the flag, we invite them to the event. So we're making sure that whatever we're doing, we are inviting at least the Twin Cities community to come and see what we're doing. We are putting the flag. Right now, Cal is not charging us copyright or anything, maybe in the future. But any event we have, we put a little flag on top of the podium, and everything we have, we put the star logo, and we have during the month, our flags, and hey, we are promoting, and he is recognized as a Hispanic star for the month, and we make sure that everybody puts it in their logo, in their brand, in their webpage, in LinkedIn. So whatever you can do for externally, some people know what it is, some people don't know. We say at the beginning of Hispanic Star Month, say, hey, this individual is being recognized as a Hispanic Star, which means, so we have to be the first educators, and again, it's repetition, 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 and start in New York, start in Chicago, start in Minnesota, start in North Carolina, Colorado, wherever you want. And I think it's, if we all do the activities in our state, again, we're building a brand, we're building what we mean, and that's the way to start it. But yeah, if we don't tell the world what the Hispanic Star is, all of our efforts start internally, and it's not gonna go anywhere.
So we have 5 minutes left. There's a networking session. For those of you that raise your hand and have a mic, if you want to keep comments and input on what you want to do, the breakout sessions this afternoon you cannot miss. You have to go to the Celebrate session, which is a breakout session on how to promote. We're going to have experts going after. There's a couple of sessions coming before the breakout, which are related to how to navigate the DEI environment that we have now. From the legal perspective, we have the best lawyers in the world coming and telling us what is it. Then we're going to have a session on how to communicate, and then we're going to have the breakout sessions. But just to respond to your question, what Marlene said is exactly where we're going to be focusing. As an organization, we're going to make sure that we build the brand of Latinos, and by doing that, becoming a little bit of an agency that shows leg of the companies that are doing the right work. Until now, we were not focused on building the brand because we had a number of other issues that we had to deal with before, but now our entire focus is going to be on narrative, on marketing, and showcasing showcasing the incredible work that companies like yours are doing?
Mine, good afternoon or good morning. Carlos Valle, I advise executives on culture and engagement work, and my question is also for you, Marlene. And it's actually the opposite, it's internal. So one of the things that you talked about was some of the challenges that you were facing with other groups, particularly, here we go, better? Yes. Particularly some of like your Black employee resource groups. What are you doing still to this point to try to continue to build that advocacy internally? Because I can imagine that just as you would have, opportunities and challenges externally, you got to build that support internally.
It's every day we're building, and we can.
Hi, Gabriela Ramirez. Thank you so much for all the work you guys are doing from UBS. So I'm going to try to articulate it the best I can. One of the biggest challenges, I spend most of my time in business development, finding financial advisors who focus with uber wealthy clients. And so one of the biggest challenges that I've had, which some of my colleagues at Bank of America, JP Morgan, and Morgan Stanley don't necessarily have because the point of entry is smaller, is finding a business case, which is why I loved what Refugio said about instead of an ERG, a BRG, finding a business case to justify and to find and identify and help Latinos break into a segment which is usually seen and perceived to only be white male, and to prove that there is a reason why we should be investing in Latinos in terms of wallet share and representation, because usually Latinos are perceived as, yeah, I understand that you guys are a big part of the population, but you don't really have the wallet share. So I'm curious if there's any research or any experience or anybody can help me brainstorm on ideas on how do you present the business case and how do we demonstrate that this is a really important part of the community to invest in. Segment.
Hi, hola. My name is Vanessa Vera. I'm from Microsoft. My question is actually about once a company signs the Hispanic promise, what accountability is in place to make sure that they're executing on the framework? And just from an education standpoint, I believe Microsoft is one of the companies that signed it, but who would I work with? Is it an HR team? Is it an ERG team? Like, who do I work with to have these conversations and make sure that action is in place?
I love that question that she made. I'm Rocio Van Nierop, CEO of Latinas in Tech, and I speak for 40,000 Latinas that work in the tech industry. And first and foremost, the threat that DEI has is absurdly bad. It's really hurting us. We are the employees. We are the 2% tech workers that are Latinas. And basically, I can tell you this. We have hundreds, if not, let's say 200 sponsors. All of our funding comes from DEI teams. They were either fired, so our sponsors were fired, those teams, those DEI teams, or they were defunded. That money didn't go anywhere away. The companies are still doing well. And they're not leaving you alone, you employees. But what do I mean is your professional development is still going to be funded by them. They just cannot allow themselves to bend out and say, we are supporting a DEI initiative. So this is a moment when each one of us, especially I'm talking to you ERGs, to stand up for your community and advocate to support the professional development of your people, because it's not being handed to you voluntarily, but the funds are there. So unfortunately, even though people do sign the pledge, they cannot vent it out because there's so much backlash. But I believe in their hearts, the passion and the commitment is still there. They just cannot say it. So stay tight, advocate for your people, join your ERG groups, and Microsoft, join the ERGs and advocate for our people. It has to come internally more than ever. Just my 2 cents.